3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2 and 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Talk really loud like you're excited.
Testing here from the Geelong Arena on a Friday night, NBL1. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What about this? It's got this one as well?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yep. Yep.
You got me, Kingy? Yep.
Right.
So yeah, if you need to turn yourself off, turn it off.
So we're good to go now, are we?
Yeah, well we're streaming
So-
through, waiting for NBL to send it.
To pick it up.
So NBL will stream and then they stream it.
So can I go, if I start now?
40 seconds on the clock. You got me there, Kingy? Yep.
You got me?
Yeah, I've got you. Yep. Just, where's the mic turning off? Just down to 0. Yep. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. A little bit nervous here, mate. Just the anticipation of a long pre-season coming into a season full of expectation.
Game time almost with us here at the arena. Game 1 of the NBL1 season. Our referees for this match today are Shannon Jennings, Ken Spratt and Andrew Holland.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to a new era in Australian basketball. NBL1 is with you live from the Geelong Arena opening night. And a couple of old foes going head-to-head, Geelong and Nunawading, to kick things off. A double-header here from the arena. Tom King in the host chair alongside former Supercats great Seb Loader. Seb, good evening to you as the Supercats get things underway. And it's a new-look Supercats women's lineup. It's actually a new-look Nunawading lineup as well. The Spectres look a little bit different to the side that went deep into the playoffs last year as well.
They do. Evening, Kingy. Good to be here for the start of this season. And, yeah, like you said, it's a monumentous occasion for both the league and the organisation. So, fantastic night for it.
First foul's been called, and Zatina Akuso, who was allocated the number 1, he's actually wearing the 14 with Cratchiville on the back tonight, but that is in fact Zatina Akuso, who of course spent the summer with Townsville in the WNBL, has re-signed with the Fire for 2019-20, and she clunks the first one off the back of the iron. Solid season with the Fire, averaged 9.5 points a game, which was third, and 5.6 rebounds, second on the Fire roster. That rebound count second only to a pretty handy player called Susie Bakovic.
Goes all right.
Might have heard of her.
Just a little. Well, we're underway. We've got a first score. So she goes 1 of 2, hitting the back end of the free throws.
So Kira Rowe. And Paul Flynn in charge this year again of the Spectres, who are a very different looking lineup. There's a little step through from Rachel Antonia comes up short, and Akuso pulls up the board. Names like Whittle, Zavitz, Vandenberg, Panousis not returning from last year's side that, of course, lost in a preliminary final to Launceston after going 13-7 through the Siebel regular season. Coming back the other way is Izzy Chilcott. Kathleen Shear, of course, with Hobart last year, is along with that 3. And right now, 2 sides filling each other out. Both had heavy exhibition series. 3 games for the Spectres, 4 for the Supercats, as Tina Akuso can't make the close one go.
She certainly looks like she's going to have some immediate impact on the glass for us, Big Z, which is fantastic. We've got some inside-outside presence, and I'm sure Coach Herbert will be looking to push that influence on throughout the game and be an identity moving forward.
Great to see Sarah Blitzarves back in red, and she is fouled on the shot by Kira Rowe. Of course, Sarah blew the knee out early in the 2017-18 WNBL season, just off leading the Supercats to their first Siebel Women's Championship, and got back for the last 6 games of this WNBL season, and great to see her back. I was just talking to her earlier, and she said she's probably 4 or 5 months away from being where she wants to be with her body and the like. Just 6 months on top of the rehab to just feel your way through it.
That's right. I mean, there's always that athlete's bugbear when you fight so hard from that rehab, only to have to find some significant time to be able to get that game touch back.
So Blitzarves 1 of 2 from that trip to the charity stripe. And Supercats lead at 2-zip.
Another newcomer out there for Geelong in Jazz Shelley, starting in the number 4.
Rebecca Pizzi cleans up her miss, and first score of the night for the Spectres belongs to Rebecca Pizzi, who played over the summer with Dandenong in the WNBL. So it is a completely new look starting 5 for the Supercats, bar Charlotte Brancatisano being out there. And it's pushed. Alex Duck has ran this team for a number of years, and she'll come off the bench for David Herbert early in this season.
They'll certainly be looking to that bench leadership from Ducky. As you said, she's led this squad for a few seasons now, and that bench has certainly gained some depth in the off-season.
So Tina Akuso back at the line. Rebecca Pizzi taking an early seat, 2 fouls in the opening 2 minutes and 6. It's not ideal for Coach Flynn. Antonio Du running the point for the Spectres. And a pass to the corners, knocked down for 3 by Kira Rowe. And it's a 5-3 Nunawading lead. Big double header here from Geelong Arena tonight. I hope you enjoy it on NBL1's YouTube channel. Akuso has a block by Shear. Shear had a big season in terms of blocks last year in the Siebel with 50, second only to Luella Tomlinson, as Antonio Du knocks down the 3. And it's now an 8-3 Spectres lead. Brancatisano wanting to push the pace for the Supercats. Shelley, guarded by Antonio Du, steps back for the 3, has left that well short. And it's a nervous start from Geelong.
Certainly is, Kingy. We've also seen Nunawading and Geelong, 2 distinct styles so far. We're only 3 minutes in, but Nunawading seem to be playing a lot of on-ball screens and then looking for the shooters in the corner, whereas Geelong, with the front line of Z and Sarah and Ezzy, are probably and understandably looking to go inside.
Pass to the corner, and coming off the bench, Caitlin McLaughlin, who spent the summer with Bendigo, leaves that one short. Akuso with adventures in dribbling. Shelley feeds Blitzarves back to the basket, working on Rowe. And she has been called for the travel. Shannon Jennings, Ken Spratt, and Andrew Hollowood controlling this one tonight from Geelong Arena. One of 3 games underway, the other 2 tonight. Seeing Dandenong take on the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence at Dandenong, and we see the Hobart Huskies in action for the first time, taking on the renamed Southern Sabres, the old Sandringham going with the Southern Sabres name. They're clashing down at Hobart tonight. We'll bring you score updates throughout the evening as we have a foul called on Blitzarves. As Antonio Du hits the floor. It's the first team foul on the Supercats. But a scrappy start for these two. Nunawading playing Waverley, Eltham and Dandenong through their pre-season. Geelong had a couple of hit-outs against Ballarat, also played Waverley as well. Kathleen Shear, little on ball. And a handoff, but well off the mark was Kira Rowe. And
maybe someone's opened one of the roller doors out the back.
That breeze has just got up here in North
blustery.
Geelong. Jazz Shelley has signed with Oregon in the Pac-12. He's going to be a Duck from 2019-20 onwards. And she's left that 3 off the mark. Of course, part of that 2016 Under-17 World Championship side with Ezzy Magbagor.
It was a handy team, the girls there. So Jazz Shelley's already showing that I've watched her in a few trainings and in warm-ups this evening, and she's certainly more than capable of making that long shot. She hasn't started so great here, going none of 2 early, but she certainly has that in her repertoire, and any of our viewers that have seen her play will understand that she can certainly fill it up from out there.
The dish from D'Angelo, but not finished off by McLaughlin. Chilcott. And they're going to turn it over here, the Spectres, and Magbagor pushes a pass to Blitzarves, guarded by Shear. Akuso to the corner. Brancatosano thought about the shot, put it on the floor, and Akuso had to stretch for the pass. Little jab step and step back, and that's a nice finish from Zatina Akuso. And that, the first field goal of the evening and of NBL1 for the Geelong Supercats. They cut the margin back to 3. Took all of 5 minutes.
You certainly called it, mate. That you said stretch. Wow, I thought that was going out of bounds. The sidelines until she just extended that and managed to reel it in and then hit the nice little step back.
Great passing from the Spectres. Can't be finished off by Rowe from the top of the arc. And now a turnover as Akuso's bounce pass is picked off by D'Angelo, and now she'll be called for an offensive foul as Jazz Shelley had set the feet just above the charge circle. So really, it's like a couple of boxers just feeling each other out in the first round at the moment, Seb.
It certainly is. There's a lot of glove touching going on, mate.
First game of it, Shelley's dribbled that off the back of D'Angelo's foot. Just feeling away, Jazz Shelley here tonight. Of course, spent the summer with the Boomers, and Zatina Akuso zigged when she should have zagged on that pass.
Absolutely, that was a nice look from Jazz there. Trying to get the little high-low option into Z. Unfortunately, Z wasn't ready for it.
It's going to take some time for both rosters are fairly new. You look at the turnover, obviously Geelong said farewell to both the imports in Chelsea Poppins and Daniela Wellen, and Alan Kett also hasn't returned. There's been a significant turnover from the team that won the championship in 2017, let alone off the back of 2018.
Certainly has, and not only that, a lot of these girls, through their WNBL commitments and other commitments over the summer, have only just really got on court together in the last sort of 3 to 6 weeks. I'm sure...
Sorry, mate, Izzy Chilcott just seeing the feet there. Looked like a little shuffle, but referees let it go.
Well, Kingy, I'm not sure about you, but the new interpretation on these travel rules, I was never the smartest guy going around when it came to what the feet were doing. But any idea I had has certainly gone well out the window.
Foul called on Isabel Brancatosano. It's fair to say the Geelong bench runs deep.
It does, mate. Yep. So we've got Eb Roth, who's coming off a season in Malaysia. Alex Duck, who we mentioned before. Isabel Bourne, who's checked in. So there's you're probably going to be your 6, 7, 8. Isa, 9. Ellie Knights, some other development girls on there. They're certainly going to push people. They'll be pushing each other for spots and minutes, which is always a great thing to have as a team, to have those individuals pushing each other week in, week out.
Blitzarves off the dribble, left it short. Shear, pull-up jumper is just short, hit back front and didn't want to drop, and Magbega with the rebound. 8-5 with 3.5 to play here in the first. Geelong and Nunawading to open the NBL1 season. A new era in Australian basketball as Magbagor going to the basket, couldn't get it to finish. And then Blitzarves has deflected the pass out of bounds, and It hasn't been pretty. It's not one for the archives, this opening 6 minutes and 42 seconds, Seb.
No, certainly not. Another sub here with Ebrolf checking in for Izzy.
Rolf spent some time in the WNBL with Bendigo, had last season out of the top flight. As you said, though, he had a short contract in Malaysia. Antonio do long three, knocks it down over the outstretched arm of Isabranca Desano. And it's a 6-point Nunawading advantage. Geelong just struggling to get any flow on offence this early stage. What are Nunawading doing well?
I think they're just ensuring there's a lot of ball pressure on the passer. That Geelong are obviously trying to use their length and front line size, but the ball handlers have had pressure on them the whole time. They're not allowing that easy pass into the paint.
The other end, D'Angelo with a little bit of dribbling, and it has a shot blocked.
Nice little hesitation move.
Has a shot blocked by Shelley, but she got a piece of the body, and she's off to the line for her first foul on Jazz Shelley. Alex Duck checking in for the first time tonight. So Geelong going a little bit smaller, had Rolf and Blitzarves on the floor together, but Blitzarves will take a seat, and I suspect her minutes will still be being managed at this early stage on her comeback from that knee injury.
Oh, absolutely, and you're probably going to see a similar vein from Coach Herbert with Izza coming back from the Achilles injury last year that, of course, sidelined her for most of the season. So a couple of little rehab-type minute management, I would think, early on in the season for those girls from the coach.
So Chelsea D'Angelo knocks down both free throws. It's an 8-point Nunawading lead as they look to extend the defence. And they're forced to turnover, have they? Yeah, Alex Duck couldn't retrieve that pass. So just a real lack of cohesion from the Supercats. But Nunawading's defence is really working Geelong over at this early stage. And Paul Flynn will be happy with what he's seeing from his roster.
Real lack of organisation there from Geelong. That's not the first time Nunawading have shown a full court press or some up the court pressure, and they just didn't seem to be able to manage it. So they'll look for Alex Duck to show a bit of leadership, and Izza to be able to get through that. On cue, Izza hits a nice deep three from the first pass into the 45.
Margin back to 5, and now a turnover. So Geelong will look to push it through Eb Rolf, and they've got a 3-on-2. Rolf, Branca Desano wants to set the feet, and then she tried to put the pass into the paint to Izzy Bourne and deflected off the foot of Rachel Antonio and down to the other end of the floor. Of course, NBL1 brought to you with the support of Basketball Victoria. New initiative and a new era in Australian basketball. I'm looking forward to seeing how season 2019 unfolds. Duck, as Bourne went back door but couldn't control the pass and lost it out of play, and another Wadding ball.
And that sums up the Supercats' first 8 minutes here. There's certainly a concerted effort to try and get that ball inside through some little backdoor plays as well as the high-lows and just legitimate post entries. But Nunawading have been more than up to keeping them from establishing that inside presence.
Rachel Antonio played 99 Seabull games. And this is their first NBL1 game as a big 3 from Chelsea D'Angelo, and the margin is 8. They're double the Supercats score, the visiting Spectres, 16-8. Duck. Bourne off the dribble, takes it with her left hand and finishes nicely. Izzy Bourne.
Good strong move there from Izzy.
Canberra girl, of course, spent some time on the Caps roster and most recently with the Centre of Excellence, averaged 11 points a game last year. As Antonio went to go reverse, had her shot blocked by Bourne. It's cleaned up by Nankervis, and D'Angelo strong to the basket with a nice finish, rather than McLaughlin cleaning it up. And it's an 18-10 advantage as we're inside the final minute. Nice little bounce pass from Duck, who things seem to have just changed slightly with Duck on the floor, Seb.
Yeah, that experience and that leadership Alex has been known for over her career is certainly shining at the moment. She's managed to settle them down and get them through a couple of really good looks on the offensive end.
Had a quick chat to Alex before we came to air and sort of just said, your game number, you're keeping track of it? And she goes, yeah, my last game last year was 249.
Game 1 tonight, mate.
Game 1 tonight. Yeah,
Game 1 tonight.
So I think 110 with Albury Wodonga. Of course, a great product out of the Bandits program before moving down this way, and 139 in a Supercats singlet, make it 140 tonight for 250 at the next level down from the NBL.
Fabulous achievement from Alex.
Yeah, D'Angelo working off the screen of Nankervis. He's hit the back of the iron with that one, and The Supercats will have the final say in this opening term. Shot clock is off. And they'll look to eat into this 6-point margin. Shelley. Bourne sets the screen. Shelley has to retreat the dribble. Bourne's asking for it inside, and then she's turned it over with the pass. Will D'Angelo get a shot off from half court? Gives it a ride, and he's off the mark. And that is quarter time here at Geelong Arena in the opening night of NBL 1. And it's the Spectres who have an 18-12 advantage in this clash, and it's been a solid start from Nunawading. They've adjusted quicker to the new season than the Supercats, and their offense seems to be a little bit more in sync than what Geelong have produced so far.
Yeah, it does, Kingy. I mean, that last possession there was really indicative of the way the Supercats played that first half on the offensive end, and Nunawading played it on the defensive end. The ball pressure's fantastic by Nunawading. The Supercats are second-guessing themselves. They look like they're thinking about making a pass rather than instinctively making a pass from that lack of cohesion. So you can see that they're just a little bit rusty. The girls don't quite know if the pass is there, if their teammates waiting for it. So I don't think the defensive end is a real worry for Geelong at the moment. I think Coach Herbert would probably have some issues around, hey, let's settle this down. We know what we want to get into. It looks early days that they want to really play an inside-out game. And let's just take our time and be aware that the Nunawading guys, the girls are doing a really good job.
Might be a silly question, but can you be too deep? Can you have too many options? And then when you've got so many options, you're trying to keep everybody happy with minutes?
I think in juniors, mate. I don't think when you get to the big leagues, once those bright lights come on, it's all about competitiveness. It's about winning. It's about unity, cohesion. And that's what all the successful teams will have. There's probably arguments that some teams that are extremely talented on paper don't get it done. Maybe you can be too deep in those situations. But for the most part, teams that are committed to winning and playing basketball at the right time, I don't think you can ever be too deep.
20-9, Dandenong leading the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence at Dandenong. And we'll endeavour to bring you a score from Hobart and the Southern Sabres down at Kingborough Basketball Stadium. So Geelong going with Bourne, Rolfe, Brancatisano, Shelley and Duck. Antonia Du, Shear, D'Angelo, looks like Pizzy, Izzy Chilcott, and also on the floor is McLaughlin. Or rather, Slater, it looks like, for Nunawading. Second quarter underway. Nunawading by 6. Shot clock at 10. Duck looks to work off a Bourne screen, guarded by Shear. Kicks it to the corner for Rolfe with the mid-range jumper, who knocks it down, and that's Eb Rolfe's game. Loves flaring to that.
Yep. Loves that little short corner jump shot. Just frees up the space for the guard driving through the middle. Does a really great job of getting into a position that she's comfortable and knocks it down.
Chilcott looks to go baseline. A little bounce pass is okay. The shot of Slater is off the mark, and on the rebound we've got a foul, and it's going to be against Kathleen Shear as she picks up her first foul. The Missouri native played for a pretty handy college. Kathleen Shear, might have heard of them. Duke.
Yeah, they go okay.
She's been playing in Russia.
It's great to see that the girls are able to go over those places and then come back here and still be able to be marquee players in the NBL1.
Disappointing turnover there from Alex Duck. Pass just had a little bit too much on it for Isa Brancatisano. So 2 Brancatisanos out there tonight. Isa and Charlotte. There were 3 on the roster last year at various stages. As we know, Isa having her season finished by an Achilles injury. Shear from the corner has left it short. Good clean up by Slater, but couldn't get it to go, and Bourne was able to just knock it to her own advantage and reel it in.
We saw the length there of Sarah Slater, 187, 23-year-old forward. She certainly has a long wingspan. She just went up there and the wings extended and she pulled that in.
Bourne was hitting the underside of the ring there as she tried to go with the layup. So missed opportunity there for Geelong. Shear kicks it to the corner. Antonio Du's been good early. That's off the mark, but Shear keeping it alive. And D'Angelo, a little bit too much on her shot. Here's Slater again, but her pass. And I suspect that Brancatisano had the last touch on that, knocking it away from Izzy Chilcott. The referee saw it differently, and it's a Geelong ball on the baseline.
Home court call, mate. We're entitled 1 or 2 again.
You haven't changed. Charlotte Brancatisano, a little handoff to Duck. feed for Bourne. Guarded by Shear. Rolfe, long range 2, knocks it down from the old 3-point line. And cuts the margin back to 2, and Geelong have gone on a nice little run either side of quarter time.
The analytical gurus won't like that long 2 there, mate. It's
Low
a forbidden
percentage
shot
shot,
at basketball these days.
but if you're comfortable with it, Duck. Little shot fake and took it hard to the basket and has drawn the foul, and that's Shear's second. And we'll take it to the line, Alex Duck, for a couple of free throws.
If this is game 250 for Alex Duck, I would think that was that move, exact move, number 1,000.
Yeah, 4 times a game.
At least, yep.
Alex Duck coming off 10.3 points, 5 rebounds and 4.7 assists, which were the team high last year. And led the Supercats in free throws at 72.7%. Seb?
I would hope that the free throw leader for the girls this year would be closer to the 80 mark.
We want somebody in the 80s.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Something about these rims at the arena.
Well, Alex has made a good start going 2 for 2 there.
We're all locked up
good
at 18
up ball
apiece. It was. The screen set by Beck Pizzi. Antonia Dude's liking the outside shot, and she's knocked that one down.
That's the 3rd or 4th occasion we've seen that high on-ball extended pick, and it's worked each time in getting people an open look.
At the other end is Abranca Desano with the reply, and we're locked away again at 21 apiece, and suddenly the offences appear in a little bit more sync than they were in the opening period. Antonio with a little step through was nice. She drew contact, couldn't get it to fall.
Those cobwebs appeared to have been blown out.
The foul called on Charlotte Brancadesano. And Rachel Antonio for those who don't know a bit of her background, spent a year with the Florida State Seminoles.
The Seminoles. Nice part of the world.
Just starting to get really nice. It's always nice in Florida, but this time of the year,
Is there a bad time of the year in Florida, King?
Is it spring break yet, Seb? Beginning towards that time of year?
Wouldn't know, mate. I'm never fortunate enough to venture over there for a college.
That'd be probably your biggest regret, that you never played college ball. Too much on that from Isa Brancadesano. 22-21. And that on ball set by Pizzi again. D'Angelo off the dribble.
Good defense from Alex Duck here.
Antonio going baseline. And D'Angelo for 3. A little too much on it. Shear with a big board and the left hand to put it back.
She's had a huge impact on the offensive glass so far this quarter. I think that's probably the 3rd one she's been able to gather for her team.
Was 5th in total rebounds in the Siebel in 2018. 18.5 points a game, Kathleen Shear, with the now no longer Hobart Chargers in terms of this level of competition. 24-21 is the lead. The Spectres just having the answers at the moment, and Brancadesano nearly losing the dribble, and now Pizzi is called for a very soft foul, and that is now the 4th team foul on Nunawading. We've still got 6.5 to play in this opening or second period here at Geelong Arena.
That's one of those fouls as a player that you just hope the ref shows a little bit of leniency or common sense. The player was passed, didn't really impact the play. In fact, it probably disadvantaged Geelong having that foul called, as the Nunawading girl ended up on the floor.
Izzy Chilcott didn't really complain too much about it. I think she was accepting of the fact there was a foul there and was quick to move on. D'Angelo feeds Shear in the paint, and then Duck got her hands involved and has committed the foul, and Kathleen Shear, who had ran herself into no man's land, now finds herself at the line.
Oh, I thought it was a nice little dream shake she put on there, mate.
I'm happy to disagree with you.
Okay.
Well, Duck had positioned herself quite well.
Might just be my soft spot for post play. Coming to the top here.
Big night of basketball action coming up. Part of a double-header. Geelong and Nunawading renewing what is a, fairly to say, hostile rivalry, Seb. And I know you've been part of that over the years.
Nothing but love for the Spectres, mate.
26-21 as Shear knocks down both, having a real impact on this contest. Brancadesano off the Akusu screen in the corner. Is a Brancadesano for 3 and margin back to 2. And The outside shooting of Isabranca Desano has been crucial in this one so far.
Certainly has. Nice little offense there. Geelong finally seemed to string a couple of really crisp passes, and all of a sudden Isa found herself open on the wing.
Shot clock at 8. Antonio gets the less nimble Akusu to blow past. They switched the defence there, the Supercats, and Antonio was quick to recognise and realise she could take Akusu off the step and finish nicely to push the margin back out to 4. Akusu with a little head fake and then jab step and a nice long 2. That's a sweet shot.
That was a nice shot. She got a balanced, nice little jab step and head. And yeah, seemed to have a really nice confidence on that stroke.
5 and change to play in this second period. It's the Spectres by 2. As Shilcott looked to go baseline, had that taken away from her. Sheer, nice little spin move and then just held up, got Akusu in the air, couldn't finish. What looked like a nice move. D'Angelo the rebound and the putback and the margin again 4.
I'm glad you've appreciated that move there, mate, even though it was identical to the one she made before.
Akusu. Charlotte Branca-Desano just has her path blocked by Caitlin McLaughlin.
Again, the defence from Nunawading. Guard gets what they think is a mismatch and tries to go past on the baseline, but the bigs for Nunawading do a really great job of moving their feet and shutting down the baseline drive.
So Sarah Blitzarv's checking back into the contest. It's good to see her back playing basketball, of course. Missed her opportunity to represent Australia at the Com Games last year after that knee injury. There's Mag Beggar back to the basket, left it short, got her own offensive board and put it back. Athleticism there.
Athleticism and
Mag Beggar.
Fantastic second effort. She'd be frustrated that the first one, she couldn't get the first one to drop, but stayed with it.
Rachel Antonio, who's liked it from outside tonight, but she's left that one off the mark, and Blitzarves wants to push the pace here for Geelong. Meg Beggar pushes it back out to Blitzarves. Toe on the line, left it short, and that frustrates coaches.
Coaches, supporters,
commentators.
Big guys that have run the lane really hard to get her into a great post position.
And the 3 or 4 decides that they like it from outside and forget that where their feet are. Long 2 there from McLaughlin is short. Branca-Desano with a good box out and board.
And then the really quick push. Looked for Ezzy, but Ezzy wasn't able to reel it in. Just pass found it a little bit behind her there. Again, that's probably that familiarity thing. Eb Rolfe in that situation would run straight to that short corner rather than the basket, but Ezzy, being the player she is, she wants to attack the rim, and Isa just wasn't able to identify where that play was going then, just probably through a familiarity.
I think Tessa Boyd's checked in for the first time this evening and spent her off-season with the Western Bulldogs. Yes,
she did, yeah. Quite a few of those basketball AFLW converts coming back. I've noticed that Conti signed with the Melbourne Tigers in the NBL1, so she's continuing her basketball to basketball seasons.
How does she fit everything in?
My goodness. I have a little bit of experience with the rigours of AFLW, of course, and not
you personally playing it, obviously.
No, clearly, but my much better half is certainly has slogged away in the Geelong Cats team this year, and tip my hat to those girls, those dual sport athletes. It's an amazing achievement. Fabulous that they're able to do it.
Big foul there, Seb, while you're talking.
Yeah.
Sarah Blitzarves has picked up her third with 3 minutes and 9 to play in this second period, and after coming back for about a minute and a half, she'll take a seat, and it is a frustrated Sarah Blitzarves going to the bench.
Yeah, you said it, King. She's certainly showing some frustration there. Again, look, you're coming back from the injury she had. It does take a little bit to pick up that match stuff. I mean, you can do all the rehab in the world, but once the bright lights come on, game one, those feet don't move as quickly as they were prior to your injury.
Caitlin McLaughlin knocking down both free throws, and the margin is again 4. We've said that quite a bit tonight. Isa Branca-Desano going baseline, had to push the pass back out to Shelley. Tough move, and it falls off the glass.
Finish.
The Gippsland product, Jazz Shelley, spent the summer with the Melbourne Boomers in the WNBL. There's Kira Rowe. Pushes a pass to Pizzi. Tries to blow past Akusu and just got too far under the ring to make that work. Kuso's defence was good.
Interesting to see Geelong are playing that switching defence all across 1 through 5. So be interesting to see if Nunawading and Coach Flynn are able to exploit that a little bit more. They had a post entry there with a big on a small and were unable to get it in there.
Charlotte Brancatisano off the mark. And Kuso, the offensive board, couldn't get it to fall. And Charlotte Brancatisano, with good hustle, gives Shelley a look at 3 in and out. And they're going to get another opportunity here. So Nunawading unable to reel in a defensive board. Magbega back to the basket, and that's going to be a foul. And it's going to be called on Caitlin McLaughlin. And I don't think Magbega was overly happy with the attention she was getting there from Caitlin McLaughlin. I reckon there might have just been a little shove that Ezzy got in after.
A post-whistle push.
Yeah. You know about a few of those through your career, Seb?
Certainly received plenty, mate.
Didn't give any yourself?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ezzy Magbega at the line. Of course, the 2018 WNBL Rookie of the Year. She's off the mark with the second, but Geelong look like they're going to get this back again as Brancatisano on the floor fighting for it, finds Shelley, who turns it over as McLaughlin got in the passing lane, who's turned it over herself as her pass missed Tessa Boyd. So not one for the archives in the last minute or so, and then the long three of Brancatisano, who's been pretty good from outside tonight.
She has. That was certainly a long three, though. That was a good metre and a half behind the line.
The feed is nice inside, and the finish is just as good from Caitlin McLaughlin. Nice look from Kira Rowe, who had a summer with Dandenong under Larissa Anderson. Back to the basket. Here's Akuso, and that's a nice finish. Yeah. So Tina Akuso spending her winter. She's gone from the summer of Townsville to the winter of Geelong, Seb.
Can't be too much difference there.
Off the dribble. The feed from Pizzi, or rather Chilcott.
Substitution for the Spectres. Rachel Antonioni coming in. We have a timeout.
1 point game, a minute to go in the first half.
They lead 34-33.
Substitution for Nunawading here too on the timeout. So here we go, Kingy. With Geelong.
Yeah, minute and 4 to play. They've just haven't got into any rhythm, and I think the fact they trail by 1 is probably a testament to the fact that they've just found a way to score. There's been nothing that's made this look, simple.
There's been no fluid basketball coming from Geelong. Although having said that time there, they managed to find Z in the low block. Nunawading had been throwing that half double team at the post entries for Geelong prior to that one, but Zatina did a really good job of realising that, well, you're not going to double team me. I'm going to hit you in the chest going this way and then spin the other way and put it in.
So minute 4 to play in this second period. And the visiting Nunawading Spectres 34 leading Geelong 30. 37-35, leading the visiting Nunawading Spectres 35-34. We'll take a break. Half time here at Geelong Arena. We'll be back shortly. Halftime here at Geelong Arena, NBL1 opening night, and of course Geelong and Nunawading doing battle in this first women's clash at Geelong Arena, and it's Geelong 35, holding sway narrowly over Nunawading 35-34. The Supercats with 23 points in that second period after trailing by 6.
8 scorers too. I mean, we alluded to the depth that the Supercats will rely on all this season to be successful. We've had 9 girls hit the court and 8 of them scored.
And interestingly enough, the plus-minus is with Geelong, only very so slightly, but Geelong was the one coughing up the ball early, making turnovers. Nunawading seemed to have a bit more better ball security, but in the end, Geelong just, I think as you talk about that bit of depth, probably just showing through a little bit. Yeah,
and I think having a little bit of an opportunity to blow those pre-season nerves out, the new season girls that haven't played together a considerable amount of time, and a little bit of a feeling out process. And of course, you can play practice matches, but nothing comes anywhere near walking out there and playing an opponent when there's competition points on the line. And that's probably a little bit of a testament to Nunawading having that intensity up right from the get-go, and Geelong feeling their way through, and Nunawading being able to create turnovers as a result. It'll be interesting to see whether Coach Flynn comes out and really tries to exploit this switching defence that the Supercats are throwing at the Spectres at the moment. I've really felt watching the game that the Spectres are probably will be thinking they should be double-digit lead. They've had the switches, they've had some of their really good bigs, like Kathleen Shears found herself underneath the rim with a Charlie Brown Catasano on her, and they just haven't been able to utilise that mismatch and recognise it and get the ball in there and be able to really put some pressure on the Supercats on the scoreboard and continue to keep that pressure on there rather than letting the girls back into it.
Geelong with 11 turnovers, Nunawading with just the 6, but they just haven't made them hurt. Just looking at the points from turnovers, Nunawading have only scored 5 of those 11 turnovers. You almost want to be the point for number, 1 for 1.
Yep. That means you're generally converting 1 in every 2. Paul Flynn will be very disappointed with that result.
Geelong, on the other hand, have scored 6 points off Nunawading's 6 turnovers.
Yeah, there you go.
Rachel Antonia shooting really well from outside. Is 3 of 5 from the land of plenty. 12 points, has really led the way. He's shown a real maturity in guiding this Nunawading team around the floor. Yeah,
she's certainly been aided by that. We've mentioned it a few times during the call. That high screen has certainly been able to get her free of her immediate opponent, which has found her with a big on her. And she's just too quick and skillful with the ball in her hand. She's hit the big girls from Geelong with a hesitation move and made them look silly at times. So it'd be interesting to see how Coach Herbert reacts to that and whether we continue to see this switching defence.
Chelsea D'Angelo with 9 points in just 11 minutes too.
Not a bad efficiency.
9 points for Isabranca Desano and 8 for Zatina Rakuso to go with 6 rebounds for the Townsville Fire young gun.
So Isa with 3 of 4 from downtown. I mean, the one she missed was that one that was
from the car park,
closer to the score bench than it was to the 3-point line.
We're just having a look at Zatina Rakuso in the warm-up, almost throwing down a dunk. She has done it in a game before.
She has, yeah, and apparently there's been some interesting post-training sessions with Ezzy and Zatina throwing lobs to each other. So it's fantastic to see the girls are all up at that rim level and starting to get above the rim level.
Hopefully we see one on the break at some stage.
I prefer to see one in traffic.
Oh, yeah. Let's start.
Okay, mate.
Let's start small and work our way up.
Okay.
How does that sound? Big opening weekend of NBL1. 3 games tonight, as we've alluded to. Dandenong and the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence meeting at Dandenong Stadium. We're early in the third period at Dandenong, and it's the Rangers holding sway by 17-40-23. So John White's girls making a solid start to the new season. And down in Hobart, the Southern Huskies, or the Hobart Huskies, taking on the Southern Sabres, the old Sandringham, for those who are wondering who the Southern Sabres are. Still in the orange, but playing under the Southern name, based in, of course, the southern suburbs of Melbourne, the Bayside area. No score from that game at this stage. We'll endeavour to bring you one throughout the evening. But through the rest of the weekend, Diamond Valley and Eltham to clash, northern suburbs rivals, and no love lost between those two over many years of basketball.
The traditional Big V champ rivals going head to head.
Frankston and Waverley will meet Knox and Kilsyth. There's a rivalry.
It's certainly a mouth-wetting opening round, isn't it? A lot of the traditional rivals going hard at it. We've alluded to the history between the Supercats and the Spectres, and it goes back 20+ years to the NBL days. And the league has certainly said, okay, well, if we're going to do this round one, let's come out with a bang.
Nunawading and Ballarat, of course, the Southern Sabres doing the road double to kick things off. So the girls in Launceston, the boys at Northwest Tassie, Ringwood and the Centre of Excellence, Kilsyth and the Centre of Excellence. What a tough start for the kids.
Wow.
We're going to give you a triple header. That's the old-fashioned Hobart, Launceston, Northwest Tassie.
Yeah, or the New South Wales triple header.
The Bankstown.
Friday night, Penrith. Saturday night, Bankstown, then the Sydney Sky on the Sunday afternoon.
Or down at Illawarra in the really old days.
Wow, yeah.
And Melbourne Tigers, Bendigo Braves, and Waverley and the Albury Wodonga Bandits to wind things up. So the Bandits, the last team in action in the opening round of NBL1. What are you expecting out of this second half? Give us an idea, Seb, of what the messaging might have been from the respective coaches, Paul Flynn of the Spectres and Dave Herbert of the
I think Dave Herbert would have been ecstatic with his troops for that half there. He's probably gone into half-time and said, hey, girls, you know what, we're up by a point. Our first quarter left a lot to be desired, particularly our first 7 minutes. Great job hanging in there. Great job getting our noses in front. Now we try to execute and play that Supercats basketball that we've spoken about in the pre-season, and we try to really make sure that we're able to put our imprint on this game.
So players getting final messaging as we enter this third period here at the arena. Crowd starting to build on this opening night, and still one of the great basketball venues, isn't it, the arena?
No bias here at all, mate. I would think it's probably the best place I've had the opportunity to play in the NBL1/Seabull days. Obviously, there's some other fantastic basketball venues across the country, but in terms of what this venue is able to sound like and play in front of, and to have the luxury of playing here as a home court, it was just a fabulous event. Week in, week out, the crowd are passionate. They come in, they pack it. We've got our own Red Army here. Yeah, look, great venue, and it looks a treat. The guys involved in the administration and operations for Basketball Geelong and the Supercats have certainly turned it on, and yeah, great to see the crowd starting to come in. Friday nights are always a challenge for us in Geelong because people tend to hit up Lammy's on a Friday night after work rather than the arena.
For those not aware, Lammy's is a local establishment that Seb has frequented many a time over the last 24 or 25 years. Not wanting to put age on you there, Seb, but
it's okay, mate.
That's where you're about at. So we're underway in this second period. Antonio Du controlling things for the Spectres, and the shot of Beck Pizzi's off the mark, and the rebound is in the hands of Jazz Shelley, who has settled in nicely in this first half.
That double team.
Akuso kicks it back out to Shelley. Magbeggar wants to take Shear off the dribble. Shot clock at 10. Magbeggar goes left. Can't get it to fall. And here's Magbeggar just trying to customise to her new surroundings.
Good defence there from Jazz Shelley, being able to move her feet and keep herself in front of the ball there.
So foul called on Izzy Chilcott, her second. So just a couple in foul trouble in this contest. Sarah Blitzarv's playing with the 3 fouls. First game back for Geelong since the 2017 Seabull Grand Final win. And 3 fouls for Kira Rowe of the Spectres. Geelong by 1. Shelley feeds Akuso. Little step through is nice. It's a good finish.
Was a good finish. Nice little move. Composure to be able to just split the defence there, step through and finish nicely with her right.
Akuso now with 10 points, and Geelong with a 3-point advantage off the dribble. Pizzi can't get it to, rather Chilcott can't get it to fall, and Shear can't keep it alive on the baseline. And as we started the first half, Nunawading just turning the ball over on offense. The interesting thing for Dave Herbert, as we talk about the depth of the Geelong roster, will be trying to find I suppose, his first and second units and work them out quickly and how he's going to use them, because he, as we said, he probably does go 10 deep and he can balance his units that he never loses anything.
Yeah, as a player, you always understand that it's fabulous to be the guy that's starting the 5, but as we all know, it's the 5 that finish it are generally the ones the coach is going to go to. They're the 5. And like you said, Dave Herbert's got a real challenge in front of him, being able to identify and get that 5 in place. I would think you'll see it'll be a night-specific 5 that he'll run with.
Antonio Du was well off the mark with that 3-point attempt after being fairly accurate in that opening half. Cuso with a little handoff to Shelley. Charlotte Brancatisano feeds Magbega, and then a nice long move from Zatino Akuso. 2 steps from the foul line and she was at the basket. 12 points for Zatino Akuso. Chilcott wants to feed Shear, and she was fronted well by Isa Brancatisano, but the long ball is good from Rebecca Pizzi.
Inside-out basketball, and Pizzi found herself sitting at the top of the key. Managed to splash that one down.
Akuso's double team, and it's got to get herself out of it. Does so with a nice. And then the extra pass to the corner is left short from Isa to Charlotte Brancatisano, but they'll come up with it again and get another second look. Shelley off the dribble, just blew by them. That first step just got the defence on their back foot and was able to finish with the left. Margin 4. Sheer rolling to the basket. Akuso was able to worry her out of it. Under the basket is Rebecca Pizzi. So they're staying in touch here, Nunawading.
They are second chance points, and Rebecca Pizzi hitting the last 5 points for them.
And there is some injury concerns down.
I would think that was just a little bit of a knock underneath the ribs.
Yeah,
might have taken the air out of
Sano.
Charlie's win there.
So she's just on her haunches at the moment, gets to her feet now, and she's okay and gets to her feet. Well, Alex Duck has come to call a sub, and it will be Charlotte Brancatisano taking a seat.
I think Charlie heard the whistle and sort of put her head down, hoping, come on, coach, I'm okay, keep me in.
6:42 to play. The inbounds from Isa Brancatisano. Magbega off the mark. Akuso with the one hand on the ball was just looked like a pea in her hand. Back to the basket, guarded by Shear. 4 on the shot clock.
Oh,
now feed the Magbega is a nice one. The dish was pretty and the finish was nice from Magbega. And the margin is 4 to the good of Geelong with 6:18 to play in this third period. NBL1 coming via the YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying the call. Don't forget social media, the Twitter account, NBL1 HQ. And under the basket, Antonio Du looked like Duck stripped, but got a piece of arm at the same time and has been called for the foul. Rachel Antonio Du will head back to the line for a couple of free throws.
Geelong have certainly shown their cards early here with the 2 recruits, Ezzy and Zatina, combining nicely in the last few plays to be able to give that 4-point buffer. But again, like we alluded to before, Nunawading just finding ways to be able to put pressure on the scoreboard, and I would think it's almost a role reversal from the first half. I think Nunawading would be pretty happy to be within 3 points at the moment, much like Geelong were happy to be close, I would have thought, in the first few minutes of that first half.
So 1 of 2 for Antonio Du. Duck wants to work off the on ball from Akuso. Little hesitation with the dribble. Magbega to Duck, who was always falling backwards on that shot, and it's always tough when the momentum's taking you backwards on that catch. So Geelong by 3. Chance to level things up from the corner for Kira Rowe. Big basket.
That's more like the offense we saw from the Spectres to start the game, that high pick and roll, and then forcing the Geelong defence to collapse on the roller and finding the open shooter in the strong side corner.
Duck goes strong to the basket. He's fouled by Antonio Du. And the veteran will find herself at the line. Veteran's a bit harsh. I think Alex Duck, just off the top of the head, might be 28.
Yeah, veteran. She's a veteran. 250 games, you're a veteran. There we go.
I remember Alex Duck. She attended, I think, Xavier High in Albury. And they came down to the national schools in 2007. And to say they made an audacious run at the title would be an understatement. They were little known and found themselves in the grand final of that schools championships. And it was a lot to do with Alex Duck. No wonder she's always felt comfortable here at the arena. Akuso skip pass to the corner. Duck thought about the shot, draws a couple of defenders for Rolf to have an open look, but can't finish it. And a chance for the Spectres to take back the lead with 4:42 to play in the third.
Again, we see that the switching defence from Geelong. Saw that Kathleen Shear there with a pretty nice high-low position there, but the Nunawading girls unable to find her.
Tough turnaround, and there's a bit going on off the ball, and Alex Duck is going to be called for the foul. I think she might have had a piece of Chelsea D'Angelo on the way through, and I think that is a third for Alex Duck. So both Duck and Blitzarves with 3 fouls.
I think she had a little bit of a hip check on the way through. She was trying to get to the defensive glass there.
That's a veteran move.
Yeah.
Alex Duck right there, that's years of experience. Sometimes you get away with those.
You do.
Sometimes you don't. Antonio do with the inbound. Shear finds herself blocked by Akuso, and travel is a call. Did Akuso break the plane with the defensive set?
I don't think so there. I think that was just a really good example.
And I think that's
the
what Kathleen Shear was trying to, I think, argue that was she straight up.
Gee, I'll tell you what, that was a really quick, strong, aggressive rip through. Zatina's a little bit lucky that her chin and nose weren't a bit closer to Kathleen Shear there, because there was some real speed on that rip through.
Might have been
flashing straight past Zatina's nose.
Calling the dentist. Flashing to the basket. Shelley couldn't finish. Akuso back to the basket. That's the travel.
I'll pull the chair out.
Yeah.
Just found Z a little bit short there and having to take a couple of little steps, but the bang bang, oops, there's no defense there anymore, and I've just taken 3 steps.
Akuso will take a seat. There's their Rolf. Checks back in for Geelong. We lead by 1. Entertaining clash this. Other than an 8-point advantage for Nunawading during that first period, no sides really dominated the clashes. Blitzarves went the steal, overshot it. Rowe going back the other way, has it knocked away by Magbega. And McLaughlin has it stolen away, or rather Nankervis has it stolen away.
Just Shelley just picked the pocket, took it straight out of her hands.
Rolf works off a Bourne screen.
Nice roll.
And it was, but getting a piece of it, Chelsea D'Angelo knocking it out of play. Chelsea D'Angelo on the Melbourne Boomers roster during the summer months.
Her and Joe Shelley be very familiar with each other's game.
Magbega kicks it out. Bourne sets the feet for 3. High arcing shot is off the mark, and Curvis did well to knock it away from Blitzarves.
Just feel that Sarah's just unable to put her imprint on this game at the moment. She's
trying too hard, maybe?
Maybe, perhaps, that finding herself getting hands on quite a lot of rebounds and balls, but unable to quite reel them in.
So scoring has dried up a little bit in this third period. It was 35-34 at half-time, so only 9 points apiece through the first 7 minutes of this third period. Bourne wants it inside. Rolf off the dribble, left the jumper short, never looked like it. Just never seemed to have it set in their hands. Wanting another attempt to try and take back the initiative. Rowe guarded by Blitzarves. Shot clock at 8. Antonia do. Wants to go hard at Shelley. And she was well off the mark. Blitzarves the rebound, and Geelong will look to come the other way. Blitzarves went with the left hand, switched it to the right, and it wasn't the most attractive of Sarah Blitzarves' moves, but it's going to see her at the line. And she'll have a couple of free throws to extend this Geelong advantage.
Hopefully from a Geelong point of view, this is the impetus that Sarah needs to be able to get herself going. She's going to go to the charity stripe and hopefully knock a couple of these in. And so often you see quality players that are struggling to be able to maybe have that imprint that they would hope to have on a game. Well, it's amazing how quickly a couple of free throws can turn that around for them.
Time out here in the third period, 2 minutes 26 to play. Geelong 44, Nunawading 43. Dandenong, it's the Rangers 45, holding a 15-point advantage over the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence.
Wouldn't have thought there's too much of a surprise with that going the way most pundits would have felt.
Yeah. Occasionally you get that really talented group of kids, as you'd be well aware.
Andrew Bogut, Paddy Mills, those type of talented kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, with the AIS back in the day and even the COE now, we alluded to how good a venue the Geelong Arena is, the home of the Supercats here. We certainly found throughout our time here that you get those teams that come in like the young kids and they're playing in front of 2,000 people for the first time, and there's big screens and everybody's up and about. That it's really scary and daunting at times for us to come out, because these guys are so athletic and long. They get in front of the crowds and all of a sudden they're jumping even further out of the skin. You can put the rims at 11 foot and these guys are still throwing them down.
Blitzarves at the stripe.
She'll be looking to hit this one. Misses the first one there, so she'll really be looking to hopefully knock this one in and see if that gets her going.
And there's some... She misses the free throws, but there's some good news in the Blitzarves household.
There is, yeah. Yep. I don't think 2 missed free throws would be too much of a concern with Sarah and Auntie to be.
Yeah, so Steph Blitzarves now. Steph's coming.
Blitzarves, yeah.
Of course, he's married to Sarah's brother Chris, who a former Supercat, who's now rolling around with Sunbury in Big V Championship this year.
In the hangar, they still the Jets?
They're still the Jets.
Yeah.
And they've announced they're expecting. So congratulations to Chris and Steph Blitzarves, and Sarah,
absolutely,
who's looking forward to being an aunt.
Guys.
So some fantastic news there. So
I'm tipping that's going to be an athletic kid.
Yes.
Both of those two are phenomenal athletes.
Yeah. We'll get it done both inside and outside. We'll like the shot from outside, but won't mind slashing to the basket either. Geelong by 3. D'Angelo, the little floater.
That D'Angelo managed to just
be
able to
with the block. Sorry, Seb.
No problem.
Not everybody's in sync. We're not, and neither are the offenses for either side. It is opening night.
It is opening night. Good. Again, that little hesitation move, just be able to freeze the Geelong defender. And found herself underneath the rim. Couldn't finish that time, but certainly allowed the opportunity for the offensive rebound and then the subsequent foul shots to come.
Izzy Chilcott had a outstanding 2018 season, 13 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, some solid numbers as the Spectres got to a preliminary final where they were knocked out by Launceston. Missed the second, but D'Angelo's come up with it, finds herself going to work inside, but leaving her little jump shot short, and Meg Beggar coming up with the rebound. Branka Asano, that's Izzy. Blitzarves. Shot clock at 10. Feeds
wow.
Meg Beggar, whose just length was too much for the Nunawading defence, especially with Shear guarding outside of the paint.
I just happened to glance over to a few of the NBL1 men team from Geelong are over there, and all of a sudden the boys that are over there watching this game and cheering the girls on, about 3 of them all at once just put their arms up and had shocked looks on their faces.
Inside the final
was able
minute,
to pull that in.
Third period, Geelong by 4. Meg Beggar tried to feed it inside, just really forced that pass, and Shear got in the way and picked it off. It was never getting to Izzy Bourne. Shear dives to the block, wants to see it inside from D'Angelo, won't see it. D'Angelo going to work on Meg Beggar, tried to get her in the air, couldn't finish with the little underhand, and Blitzarves will come up with it. And Geelong might do well here just to hold it up with the shot clock off. Try and get that last shot and see if they can go in with a 6 or 7 point advantage. Blitzarves recognising that now, pulls the dribble out to almost half court. 7 to play. Blitzarves looking to go to work. Guarded by Shear, the step back jumper we've seen so many times. McBeggar, can she keep it alive in time? Yes, she can. On the three-quarter time buzzer, cleans up the mess of Sarah Blitzarves, Ezzy McBeggar. And it's a 6-point Geelong advantage. It's their biggest lead of the evening.
I would think that Paul Flynn would be extremely frustrated with that last 36 seconds that his team dished up there. They had a fantastic opportunity to be able to get a 2-for-1 at the end. Were unable to get the shot up and gave Geelong the last look at it, and then to give up an offensive rebound with a second to go. Coach killers.
Paul Flynn deep in conversation with his assistant Mish Gubbles. Just trying to work out a way. I suppose Geelong's inside game now is starting to get on top.
Particularly the length of Ezzy and Zatina. They've been able to reel in balls that are just over the top of the front line of the Spectres. The Spectres by no means are short when it comes to people like Kathleen Shear, but just the sheer length of the Geelong girls being able to catch those balls that are in that bottom of the net to rim type window.
50-44. Hope you're enjoying the coverage via NBL1's YouTube channel. Game of the week. Geelong and Nunawading. There'll be game of the week throughout the year. Join the likes of Liam Santa Maria, Cam Luke, Mark Worthington, Megan Huswaite bringing you the action throughout season 2019.
Geez, the poor listeners tonight have lucked out with you and I, haven't they?
Needed somebody to be the guinea pig, Seb.
Yeah, the biggest guinea pig you'll see, I think, mate.
A lot of fun. Great to have basketball back here at the arena, but really looking forward to seeing this new era of basketball in the country, NBL1.
It's great to see the way the league's developed, the way the game's, it's almost that renaissance. I know a lot of people talk about that mid-90s in basketball in Australia, and I don't like comparing the two because there's a huge difference.
You can't.
But in terms of sheer popularity, it's fantastic to see that type of popularity and excitement around the game.
Blitzarves gets it back from Branka Desano, wants to go off the dribble, pushes the pass to Rolfe, gives just a little scoop. Here's a Branka Desano, it's off the mark. Blitzarves tried to keep it alive, and that will be out of court on what is the western side here at Geelong Arena. Those just wanting a little bit of a geography. The camera angle coming from the eastern side.
You've confused me here, mate.
Of Geelong Arena.
Bench or score bench side. I don't think I've ever heard it called the western side. We have the time zone end, the score bench, the commentary box end.
Kelly Frawley feeding the post. Pizzi hands it off.
Nice hit.
And it is a nice finish by Chelsea D'Angelo. And cuts the margin to 4. You just haven't seen the urgency step up yet, as McBeggar wants to just take it off the dribble. It just parted like the Red Sea.
There was no one back there for Nunawading. It was, I think it was Rebecca Pizzi left on an island there guarding Ezzy.
D'Angelo, her hand off. Frawley off the dribble, guarded by Bourne. McBeggar might have just got a piece of that and affected the shot, and as a result, Blitzarves comes up with the defensive board for Geelong. Branka Desano. McBeggar feeds Bourne.
Oh, nice pass.
And it was a nice pass to Rolfe, who was flashing baseline. She couldn't get it to go. Blitzarves tried to keep it alive. Nunawading will come up with it, and they find themselves with a 6-point deficit, the visitors. Great steal by Eb Rolfe as Izzy Chilcott was going to the basket. Little head fake. Oh, Branka Desano thought about the three. McBeggar trailing has run into a brick wall, and the foul's going to be called on Rebecca Pizzi. I don't think Rebecca Pizzi did too much wrong there.
I was thinking at the time there, I think Ezzy might find herself a little bit lucky there. I thought the call was going to be a trouble.
She picks up her 4th, Rebecca Pizzi.
Even more unlucky.
Paul Flynn says play with it. 8 minutes 11 remaining in this contest.
Let him ride, coach.
52-46 as we've just having a discussion between referee and score bench. Rolfe
lob play there for Ezzy. Defended well by the Spectres.
Bourne off the dribble, little spin move, found herself running into the Nunawading defence, and then she tried to bail out with the pass to Isabranca Desano and threw it out of court into the corporate boxes.
Again, there's that just looks like they're not on the same page at times, the Supercat girls. Had Isabel Bourne driving straight to where Ezzy already was, and Sarah was in there, and then throwing the pass out to the 45 as Isa was already diving to the baseline.
Pizzi at the elbow. Rowe lost the dribble, stolen by Branca Desano, and she can control the dribble. She's missed the wide open layup. Just never seemed to have a real good handle on the ball after stealing it, Branca Desano, and that may have impacted on her not finishing the layup. Other end of the floor, a little step through is nice, and a good finish from Izzy Chilcott. The margin's back to 4. They're not going away lightly here, Nunawading.
No, and the Nunawading girls have really utilised that step through, being able to get the Geelong girls up, and we see another turnover here.
Chilcott with a wonderful steal off Branca Desano.
Big screen set too up the floor by...
And at the other end, Rebecca Pizzi finishes it off, and they're back to 2.
Saw McLaughlin there, nice big screen, able to get the ball into, and allowed the Spectres to get the ball into the teeth of the paint.
Nice little run here from Nunawading. Blitzars wants to clear out, doesn't get it. Shot clock at 8. Once again, Nunawading really up in the face of the Geelong offence.
Defensive intensity's really lifted for Nunawading.
Tough shot, got contact, didn't get it to fall, and will head to the line. And you're almost, as Caitlin McLaughlin, do you defend that or do you just step off it?
Yeah, that's a step back, long two from a player who, whilst supremely talented, isn't quite at the top of her game at the moment. And now you end up putting her at the line. And again, we come back to maybe this is what gets Sarah going.
Couple of free throws for Blitzarves, an earlier trip to the line.
Still donuts.
0 of 3. Just hasn't been Sarah's night, but will take her some time. She's now 0 of 4, and it's going to be a Nunawading ball. So Geelong miss an opportunity just to put Nunawading at arm's length.
Very despondent Sarah running down the floor then, shaking her head, berating herself. She obviously understands that she's not a 0 of 4 shooter and frustrated at the way those last couple in particular sort of had a really good look and decided, no, not tonight.
D'Angelo feeding the elbow. McLaughlin, Shear, put it on the floor. Nagbega, good defensively. McLaughlin, tough shot with 3 on the shot clock. We'll get an O board. Had it blocked by Akuso and got it back. Shear with a long 3, and Nunawading lead by 1.
There we go.
Kathleen Shear, it's actually a long 2. Had the foot on the line, but we're all tied away at 52 apiece.
All square 52 apiece.
Akuso. Rolfe has her path impeded by Shear. Shot clock at 10. Little bounce pass. Shelley ran herself into trouble. Somehow got it back to Blitzarves. Is this what gets Sarah going? It does. The big 3. Big response from Geelong, and it's their star, Sarah Blitzarves, knocking down the long 3. 55-52. 5.5 to play.
A jump shot can do for the confidence of a player and a team. You automatically, we see Geelong are now a lot more enthusiastic on their defence. The pressure's certainly lifted. They've managed to just ramp that up a little bit, and they see him come away with a defensive rebound after a really good defensive set.
D'Angelo was off the mark with the 3. Shelley controlling the offense, wants to go baseline, kicks to the wing to Rolfe, who's off the mark, gets her own board, then has the ball knocked away. Geelong will come up with it to go again with Akuso, and she's fouled.
Nunawading girls pleading for a travel there. I think that was a really optimistic request there to the referee.
Left on the floor is Caitlin McLaughlin, who picks up her third team foul on the Spectres, and Paul Flynn wants to talk about it with 5 minutes and 4 remaining in this one to open the NBL1 season and a new era of basketball here in Australia. 55-52 is the advantage for Geelong, but this one's far from done. Nunawading are hanging really tough.
Absolutely. Nunawading's ability to be able to just force Geelong into turnovers and really heavily contested jump shots. They haven't been able to apply that inside game in the last couple of minutes of this game. And you can certainly see that it's having an impact on the scoreboard.
3 team fouls for the Spectres. Geelong yet to commit a foul in this final period. Part of a big double-header men's game tonight. There's been some great games over the years between Nunawading and Geelong at many levels of basketball.
Yeah, there has. I was having a think about that on the way in today, and just some of the games that have happened on this floor here. Of course, Jason Smith almost carrying Nunawading Spectres to a conference championship on this floor 20 years ago, only for a Matt Witowski buzzer beater to send us into a national final. Simon Conn has been a thorn in the side, along with Shane McDonald of the Supercats teams in countless conference finals along the way. So, yeah, great game, great matchup tonight.
One of my favourite, and I'll talk about it a bit later as well, but one of the favourite battles is Geelong nearly turned it over as Izzy Chilcott got her hands on the ball. Shelley off the dribble. Akuso trailing to the basket, couldn't get it to fall, and the margin stays at 3. Was Braith Cox and Shane McDonald going head-to-head in 2010. A couple of great finals.
Yeah, that was a ripping game. Braith continually telling the referee he was fouled, as Braith tended to do.
It's really funny. When Braith played for Ballarat, Geelong fans
hated him.
No interest, and Geelong players, no
Hated
interest.
him.
He came here, he pulled on the number 5 at the start and then finished in the 1. He
Love
was
him.
the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Love him.
Blitzers.
Here we go. That's back-to-back triples for Sarah. So, you know, here we've said that she's been really struggling to have an imprint on this game, and now she comes out, and the 6-point lead Geelong have is thanks to back-to-back triples from Sarah.
6-point lead on the back of those back-to-back threes. Chilcott off the dribble, and now here's Blitzars with a defensive stop. So her confidence levels have gone from non-existent to through the roof in the space of about 90 seconds on the back of a couple of threes. She missed those free throws earlier in the period. Magbega from the corner for 3, and that might be the dagger through the heart of Nunawading right there. The margin is a game-high 9 with 3:40 to play.
Great job from Joe Shelley. The last few possessions, I mean, it didn't see a basket to Zatina earlier, but she's been able to pick into the teeth of that Nunawading defence and then find the open player for really good looks. And Ezzy not letting her down there.
McLaughlin, a handoff for Rowe. Shot clock at 3, Rowe's got to get busy.
Yeah.
Off the dribble, takes it hard, and then Matt Becker gets a big piece of it, and we've got a shot clock violation.
And the demeanour that the Supercat girls are showing right now, we had not 2 minutes ago, Sarah's coming down the court, berating herself and really angry about a couple of missed free throws. Now she's laughing and exclaiming and joyful about the way that they've been able to shut down that Nunawading offence in the last few plays.
Shelley runs herself into a double team, gets out of it. I don't think she realised that Shear was coming across to help Antonia do, but all's well that ends well for Geelong. Rolfe wants to go off the dribble. Akuso used the old backside as the screen, but Rolfe couldn't get the ball where she wanted it to go. A chance to eat into the margin. They've got some work to do here, Nunawading.
Again, the defensive, that worrisome of the long arms in.
As Rolfe's able to retrieve it on the baseline, flicked it back over her head, but only turned it back over. Geelong just need to probably settle now. Antonia do for 3, needs to hit it, can't. Rolfe will come up with it, and Geelong.
Oh my goodness.
And the turnover. How you're told as a junior the cross key pass in defence just shouldn't happen.
That could not have been a better pass unless you were a Nunawading point guard.
Margin is back to 7. Sometimes you only need a little thing to turn a game of basketball, and that, hopefully for Paul Flynn and his girls, is that moment. Shear with an easy basket to
And
cut
now
it to 7.
You look at the confidence that the defence of Nunawading is showing here after just one little quick play like that.
And
you see a big block, and now they're away on a fast break.
Shear with a stop, so she gets a score, stop, and a chance to bring the margin back to within 2 baskets. Shear, long 3. She's full of confidence, overcooked it, and Akuso the long rebound. Inside the final 2 minutes, and Geelong will be quite happy to run a set here, although Antonio Dew's getting up in the grill of Jazz Shelley, making life hard for the youngster. Bit of contact, ref's happy to let it slide, and then Shelley making the pass has copped a bump from Antonio Dew.
Nunawading were away there. That pass went straight into the hands of the Nunawading defence. Very fortunate there, Geelong, that there was a foul called on that play because Nunawading were off.
Shear with 8 points and 9 rebounds. As Kira Rowe sits down. And Geelong ball on the baseline. Akuso off the dribble and tried to push the pass to the corner and has put it out of play. So the window stays slightly ajar for Nunawading. They trail by 7, 90 seconds to play. Hope you're enjoying the call wherever you're listening and watching through the NBL1 YouTube channel. Tom King and Seb Loader bringing you the action from Geelong Arena. Opening night of NBL1. Antonio Du, tough, getting to the basket, has it knocked away by Akuso out of court. But they'll get it with 13 seconds left on the shot clock, and Dave Herbert says, I want to have a quick chat to my girls. Because this one's not done. If they leave the door open for a club like Nunawading, do you know what they'll do? They'll barge through it.
Absolutely. Great example there, though, the adjustment that Zatina's been able to make on the defensive end. You found in the first 3 quarters that Zatina was getting herself caught, perhaps committing one side or another, and the Nunawading guards were able to go past her. That time she just backed off a little bit, able to use her length and play it more as a you've got to come at me type defence, rather than giving the girl with the ball a chance to go around her.
So game's also being played at Dandenong tonight with the Rangers taking on the Centre of Excellence. And it's a very handy lead for the Rangers, 74-45 as they got 74-49, and that will just about be the final at Dandenong. So it is the Rangers 74, the Centre of Excellence 49. Our first ever NBL1 result, and it's the ladies in green and gold, Dandenong, getting it done over the Centre of Excellence. The other game in progress between Hobart and the Southern Sabres down in the Tasmanian capital tonight. But our focus is here at Geelong Arena, where with 1:18 to play in the final period, it's Geelong holding sway 61-54. Nunawading, though, with the ball at the baseline. Chilcott looking for the inbounds. Shear. D'Angelo, guarded by Magbeggar.
Good defense.
Rolfe with the help.
Yep.
And affected the shot, and Akuso with a big rebound over the top. And they're going to push it down the floor. Rolfe lobbing it over the top to the very athletic Magbeggar. Decides to retreat, and they'll use as much of the clock as possible. Blitzarv's a little handoff to Shelley. Rolfe. Akuso wanted it inside. Shelley with 3 on the shot clock. Going to have to put a shot up. She shook off Antonio Du, but couldn't make it fall, and tracking it to the sideline is Beck Pizzi, who started the night in number 8, but has gone into the 3.
Showing your experience there, mate. I had no idea who number 3 was then. I'm searching through the record and the stats. Couldn't find a number 3 for the life of me.
I suspect they might have had to have a change for a blood rule a little bit earlier. Antonio Du behind the back with the dribble. Chilcott trying to get it to the corner. D'Angelo, this is an important shot. She's overcooked it, and that just might be about it. Geelong will look to run down as much of the clock as possible. Akuso under the basket, basically unchallenged by Pizzi, and that is game over. A 9-point advantage. Nunawading will put up the final shot of the contest, you would suspect. But it'll be a W for Geelong to start the NBL1 season. Akuso with the block, and Blitzarves is just happy to dribble this one out. So Geelong start season 2019 with a 9-point victory, 63-54 here at Geelong Arena. It wasn't pretty, but in the end it was effective.
You know what, we'll get to round 3 or 4 and this game will be forgotten. There'll be a W in the books. The points are in Geelong's side. It was probably fitting that the Nunawading last offence ended with a block from one of Geelong's front line using that length again. We've mentioned it quite a number of times, both offensively and defensively, that the Supercats are a new look team. The front line for the Supercats last year was probably criticised for quite not being athletic enough, and they've certainly remedied that criticism this year with the recruits coming in of Ezzy and Zatina. And also Isabel Bourne certainly got that athleticism and size to be able to trouble most front lines. Kathleen Shear, of course, fantastic job for Nunawading. Dropped off a little bit in her influence on the game, but certainly started the game well. But I think Paul Flynn will be naturally a little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to pull out a W. And I think Dave Herbert, of course, will be likewise happy that they were able to pull out the W, don't you?
So Geelong, an 8-day break before returning here for a clash with Knox next Saturday night. It'll be the first time Geelong and Knox have played each other for a while, with Geelong running around in the old Siebel and Knox spending some time in Big V Champ. And for Nunawading, they will look to recover quickly before a battle with the Ballarat Rush tomorrow night at the Graveyard. As
Sarah Blitzhouse almost pings us in the head with the time zone basketball as she's throwing it out to the crowd.
was that intended for us? Was it? I did hear something ricochet off the advertising hoarding just below us here in the grandstand.
You almost had a time zone basketball through the back screen of the laptop there, mate.
It's just about time to replace this.
I'm sure we could arrange the next one to go a little bit more closely towards the back of that screen.
Absolutely. But Geelong getting it done 63 to 54. Sarah Blitzar is back in red for the first time tonight. It took her a while to get going, but in the end, those back-to-back triples proving crucial.
It did, yeah. That really broke the game over there. Open at the end there. Sarah just finally able to have that input that we talked about and place her imprint on that game. Back-to-back threes, and then another three from, I think it was Joe Shelley in the corner, really saw the game over.
So Geelong 63, Nunawading 54, part of a big doubleheader from Geelong Arena. Tom King and Sem Loader bringing you all the action. Hope you enjoyed the call, but it was Geelong by 9 points. Don't forget to join us a little bit later as we bring you the men's contest between the Supercats and the Spectres. Should be an absolute cracker on the opening night of NBL1.